What would you do with infinite power? I mean, seriously, when Doctor Doom stole the might of the all-powerful Beyonder, he had the entire multiverse in the palm of his hand. He could have unmade reality with a thought, ended all conflict, and crowned himself the undisputed god of everything. But that's not what he did. The very first thing that he did was fix his face. And that one single, seemingly vain act is the key to understanding the profound tragedy of Victor Von Doom. And to really get it, we have to go back to a battlefield created by a god, where Marvel's greatest heroes and villains were forced to fight in the original Secret Wars from 1984. So the setup is as gloriously simple as it is grand. An impossibly powerful cosmic being, known as the Beyonder, gets curious about our whole good versus evil thing. And to figure it out, he uses his absurd power to smash together a bunch of planets into a patchwork world that he calls Battleworld. Then he kidnaps a who's who of Earth's heavy hitters. We're talking the Avengers, the X-Men, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and a rogues gallery of its worst villains. His instructions are simple. Slay your enemies, and all that you desire shall be yours. And for most of them, this is a pretty straightforward, if terrifying, deal. The heroes team up to find a way home without losing themselves, and the villains, ever the opportunists, immediately start backstabbing each other, looking for a way to win the Beyonder's ultimate prize. They all see a contest to be won, but one of them, and only one, looks right past the prize and focuses on the one offering it. Dr. Doom, the ruler of Liberia, a master of both science and sorcery, saw something else entirely. While Captain America saw a fight for survival, and Magneto saw the ultimate power outlet, he didn't care about the Beyonder's game or his promised desires. Why settle for a wish from a god when you could just steal godhood yourself? From the second he landed on Battleworld, Victor Von Doom wasn't playing their game. He was playing for the throne of creation, and every other person on that planet was just a piece on his board. Right from the jump, Doom wasn't acting like the other villains. You see, while they were all arguing about who was in charge, with Ultron making a play for dominance only to get instantly shut down by Galactus, Victor just watched. He wasn't interested in leading this circus of criminals. They were tools, maybe distractions. His eyes were on a much, much bigger prize. We get a perfect example of Doom's genius early on. The Beyonder, just to show off, unleashes a cosmic storm to wipe out all of the villains. And this is a blast of energy so huge that it brings Galactus, the guy who eats worlds for breakfast, to his knees. And yet Dr. Doom survives. His armor, that perfect blend of tech and magic, powered by his sheer, stubborn will, lets him withstand an attack that floored a cosmic being. He immediately starts studying the Beyonder, his power, and Battleworld itself. He doesn't see the other villains as allies. He sees them as assets. He takes command not because anyone voted for him, but through sheer force, and because, frankly, he's the most competent person in the room. When Kang the Conqueror dares to question him, Doom executes him on the spot. A swift, brutal move that puts an end to any leadership debates. He even creates 2 new super beings, Titania and Volcana, just to beef up his forces. But all of this was just a side project. His real plan was way more ambitious. He knew fighting the Beyonder directly was suicide. He needed more power. And on a planet with a guy who eats planets, he saw his chance. His new target was Galactus. Doom realized that to challenge a god, you have to steal the power of a lesser one. While the heroes were worrying about their next fight and the villains were plotting petty betrayals, Dr. Doom was reverse engineering a path to omnipotence. It was a plan so arrogant, so insane, that no one else could have even dreamed it up, let alone tried to pull it off. Doom's plan to take down the Beyonder was a game of cosmic chess. He couldn't just punch Galactus. That's like a germ trying to fight a mountain. He needed a way to siphon off the power cosmic without being vaporized instantly. His twisted, brilliant solution was to use another villain, Claw, the master of sound. Doom literally took Claw apart and rebuilt his sound-based form into a living, breathing piece of arcane technology designed to channel cosmic energy. With his instrument ready, Doom made his move. He let Galactus begin to consume his own massive flying fortress, a calculated sacrifice, and as the world leader was feeding, Doom struck. He hooked up his custom-built rig with the unwilling claw at its core and began to drain the power cosmic directly from Galactus. It was an act of cosmic grand larceny on a scale no one had ever imagined. Doom was ready for the final act. He found the Beyonder's personal fortress, and in one of the most iconic moments in Marvel history, he confronts the Beyonder head-on, declaring his intention to take it all. He's not asking, he's telling. He even uses the Beyonder's own curiosity, the very reason this whole mess started, to bait the entity into a fight. The battle is brutally quick. Doom unleashes all the stolen power of Galactus, but it's like throwing a rock at the sun. The Beyonder effortlessly starts to unmake him, atom by atom. His armor is torn from his body, his physical form disintegrating, but this was the plan all along. As the Beyonder focused on destroying him, Doom's device, the one still linked to Claw, wasn't just a weapon, it was a siphon. And in a split second before he was completely annihilated, as the Beyonder's infinite power flowed into him to destroy him, Doom's machine caught that flow and rerouted it, sucking the Beyonder's own energy into himself. The Beyonder was left a powerless husk, and in his place, bathed in the binding light of creation, stood Victor Von Doom, now holding the power of a god. He had done the impossible. And then comes the moment, the absolute heart of this entire story. Victor Von Doom stands at the peak of all existence. The multiverse is his personal Etch-a-Sketch. And what is the first thing this new god does? End all war, erase hunger and disease, finally destroy Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four with a lazy, contemptuous thought, remake the world into the perfect order society he always dreamed of? He does none of those things. And as the raw power of the Beyonder flows through him, his old, battered armor shatters and falls away. And for a moment, we see him. Not Dr. Doom the Monarch, just Victor Von Doom the man. Now, the exact nature of this scarring is a whole thing in the comics. Some stories say it was a massive disfigurement from the lab accident he blames Reed Richards for. Other accounts, mainly from his creator Jack Kirby, suggest it was just one tiny scar that his own bottomless vanity blew up into a monstrous flaw. A flaw that he made infinitely worse when he got impatient and jammed the searing hot iron of his first mask onto his skin. But honestly, it doesn't matter how big the scar was. That scar is everything. It is the physical proof of his greatest failure. It's the constant burning reminder of the day his genius wasn't enough. It is the symbol of his jealous, bitter rivalry with Reed Richards, the man he blames for that failure, the man who has everything Doom feels was stolen from him. The scar is why he built the mask, and the mask is what built Dr. Doom. So anyways, with the power of a god in his hands, the very first thing Victor Von Doom does is heal that scar. He makes himself perfect. Before he can fix the universe, he has to fix himself. This single act says it all. It's not the act of a god. It's a deeply, tragically human one. It shows that under all the armor, the magic, the genius, and the ambition, there is just a profoundly insecure man who is desperate to fix what he thinks is broken. This completely flips the script on the typical villain power fantasy. It's not just about destruction, not at first. It's about self-worth. It shows that for all his talk about being superior, Doom is driven by the same engine as the rest of us. That nagging, painful desire to feel worthy. And in his moment of ultimate power, he showed us his greatest weakness. Now, once he perfected himself, Doom got right to work on perfecting Battleworld and summons the heroes. In a bizarre display, he offers them a place in his new world. And at one point, he even pleads with them for help against the lingering mind of the Beyonder. And this is a rare crack in his armor that shows just how lonely and vulnerable he is. Even as a god, he still craves their validation. And his rule is absolute. He's a god of order, but it's an order that comes from tyranny. He provides for his people, but he demands total, unquestioning obedience. In his mind, he's the benevolent dictator humanity has always needed, the only one smart enough and strong enough to save us from ourselves. But here's the thing. You don't use a being of pure sound and malice as a tool and expect there to be no leftovers. The seeds of his downfall were planted from the moment he won. A tiny piece of Claw's consciousness, a malicious little whisper of sound, remained inside Doom's mind, and it began to talk. With nothing to lose, Claw starts planting seeds of doubt, whispering paranoia into the ear of a god. He suggests that maybe Doom's control is an illusion. He plays on every single one of Doom's deepest insecurities, the same ones that made him heal his face in the first place. Are you sure you're in control? Are you really worthy of all of this? The psychological warfare, it works perfectly. It's driven by Claw's whispers and his own paranoia. Doom starts to doubt himself. He pushes his power in reckless ways to prove he's in charge, and in doing so, he creates an opening. This internal conflict, this war inside the mind of a god, is the chance the depowered Beyonder needs. Sensing the fracture in Doom's will, the Beyonder reclaims his power in a catastrophic psychic explosion. Omnipotence is ripped away from him. Victor Von Doom is cast down, mortal and scarred once again. His eternal reign lasts for just a few days, and the reason for his fall is the ultimate tragedy of his character. He wasn't beaten by Captain America's shield or Reed Richards' brain. He was beaten by himself, his own insecurity, his own paranoia, his own inability to even trust his own omnipotence. Those were the weapons used against him. He achieved the power of a god, but he couldn't escape the mind of a flawed, wounded man. Now, the story of Doctor Doom in Secret Wars is way more than just a supervillain's power trip. It's a dark mirror to the hero's journey, a deep look into human nature. Doom's tragedy is that his greatest enemy was never the Fantastic Four. It was never the Avengers. It has always been, and always will be, Victor Von Doom. The face in the mirror, scarred or not, is the one enemy he can never, ever conquer. His quest for infinite power was really just a quest for self-acceptance, that he was tragically doomed to fail. It's this psychological mess that makes him one of the most compelling characters ever written. He's a villain who's absolutely convinced that he's the hero, a tyrant who sees himself as a savior, and a god who was haunted by the ghost of a single scar. But hey, that's just my take. I mean, what do you think? Does healing his face first make Doom more human, or does it just reveal how vain he is? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into this comic book through the lens of Doctor Doom, make sure to hit that button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next trip into comic book lore. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.